Okay, well, we're back from break. And just before we get started again discussing, I wanted to let our viewing audience know that Dr. Savin and I are probably the only independent physicians left in Pahrump. I know there are some new doctors that are associated with the hospital, and they could possibly be employed by them, but one of the things we're going to be doing throughout this whole segment is bringing on some of the other independent practitioners in town. I think Dr. Maddie of Hope Cancer, and then Pahrump Valley Pharmacy, and a few of the independent medical suppliers of the community, highlighting them and the services they bring, and asking the public to help support the independent practitioners. Okay, so we're going to get back to this discussion of the skinny on weight loss. And at the break, I was being asked a lot about, well, oatmeal, that's what I eat every morning. And what am I going to eat now? And Cheerios, I mean, that was my mainstay. So let's talk about high protein-based foods. A lot of people, when they moved away from eggs because they believed that they were heavy in cholesterol. Well, the news on that is eggs really are not really bad for your cholesterol. Eggs have a lot of protein, vitamin D, they have a lot of vitamins, they're nutrition, and your cholesterol comes from saturated fat in your diet. It does not come from the cholesterol that you eat. Shrimp, I mean, is very high in cholesterol, but it doesn't raise your cholesterol. The liver makes cholesterol from saturated fat. So the fried foods, and saturated fat comes in all shapes and sizes. Briefly, if you're trying to watch your fat, you're on a total fat diet of 40 grams a day. And half of that is saturated fat. So a good cardiac diet or a good low-fat diet is 20 grams of saturated fat or less. So let me put that in perspective. A McDonald's hamburger, a small hamburger, is 100 grams. It is 40% fat by weight. Guess what? One small hamburger, not the bread, not the French fries, nothing else, is your entire fat content for one day. Any wonder why we have elevated cholesterol? We'll go out and eat this monstrosity of a burger, and we wonder why our cholesterols are bad. So we have caller Amy on the phone. Amy, can you hear me? Amy, you're live?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I have a question about protein.
Okay, do you have a 7-second delay?
How much protein in a day, for example, meat, pork, chicken, or vegetables that are protein, would you say is good for weight loss?
Well, if you don't have diabetes and you don't have any kidney function, I should say diabetes. If your kidney function is reasonable, that is the only that's the only quantifier on a high protein diet, because protein is very difficult on the kidney. So you want to make sure that, if you do have renal failure or any type of kidney disease, that you're talking to your nephrologist or your doctor about that. But for the most part, the calories on protein, usually a normal diet may have 150 or so grams of protein. It might be more, it might be less. But you have to read the labels, and that's what I tell most patients to do, is to read labels. I believe almost every food source that we have today has the protein, has the calorie counts associated with that. I mean, you look at the Atkins diet. I mean, people will eat bacon and they'll eat every type of meat that they can find. They're eating tons of fat, they're eating tons of protein, and they're burning up their fat. So the problem is you get ketotic. Ketones are a byproduct of, and if you know diabetics, they have that fruity smell to them when their diabetes is not controlled, because they're breaking down their muscle to make sugar, and the byproduct of that is ketones. And if you've ever checked your urine in the office, you'll see high ketones because you're starving. So this is a natural state of starvation, ketones, and they build up in your bloodstream after 2 weeks of the Atkins diet. That's why they suggest you should not be on it for longer than 2 weeks. It will cause abdominal pain, ketosis, and it's a very uncomfortable situation. So that's why they try and limit you to 2 weeks of the Atkins diet. So I don't know if that answered your question, but I would suggest you read labels and again check with your physician to discuss that. Okay, so let's get back to what to eat in the morning. Eggs, again, a very good source of protein and a very good source of vitamins. Cottage cheese is good with the right type of fruit, maybe a pear, sliced up pear. I believe I saw on the web there was a lady who lost 100-something odd pounds in Florida, and she did that just by eating cottage cheese and a lot of, reasonable portion sizes. And again, based on your weight, your desired weight, we'll talk about that after this call, about what you want to get to and how best to get there. Okay, we have Mel on the phone. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Go ahead, Mel.
Hello.
Go ahead.
Yes, Dr. Reiner.
Yes.
My name's Mel, and I'm very happy to hear this program. It makes sense. But I'm elderly. I have type 2 diabetes, and I eat oatmeal and a banana every morning. What the heck am I going to have for breakfast now?
Okay, well, what we talked about, Mel, was having, trying to eliminate the starch in your diet and going to a little cottage cheese, maybe have a little bit of an egg whites. If you don't like yolks and you're really afraid of that, they sell natural egg whites at the store. These are things that you can buy. They're pre-packaged, and you just grill yourself up a nice omelet. Maybe put a little vegetables above the ground in it, and these are the things that you try and change your diet. A different fruit would be a pear instead of the banana, and you can. I would say don't eliminate the oatmeal completely, but try and limit it to one day out of the week, but don't eliminate oatmeal to have cream of wheat. You really haven't changed much. Don't eliminate cream of wheat and oatmeal only to have Cheerios. That really hasn't helped you very much. There are some natural protein cereals that are a little bit better for you, and you need to look for them in the grocery store. They are protein based. There's a bread out there that I recommend to all of my patients, and we'll type that on the bottom of your screen. It's called Ezekiel, just like the biblical Ezekiel. It's a 4-9 grain bread. Okay, it is 80 calories per slice. It's in the frozen food sections. I've seen it in Smith's. I've seen it in Albertsons. What I like about this bread is you can leave it in the freezer, and you want a piece, you want to make toast in the morning, fine. I'd rather you have that than a one slice of white bread, which is 110 calories of pure sugar. The fact that it's a protein grain, it's a biblical bread, it actually doesn't raise your blood sugar as fast. And that's the whole key behind diabetes, is not sending your sugar through the roof and only having it to come back down so rapidly. This causes you to feel uncomfortable, it causes you to feel weak, tired, and it's about consistency here in trying to break up the highs and the lows in your blood sugar. So again, Ezekiel bread, a 4-9 grain bread. They have several different flavors. You leave it in your freezer, take out a couple of pieces when you're ready, make your sandwich, do the things you need to do, but it's a better bread for you than white bread, and it stays longer, so you don't feel obligated to buy a whole loaf and then have to use it during that time. People tell me they'll eat wraps. They like sandwich wraps instead of bread. Well, They wrap it in a flour tortilla. I mean, you've just traded one form of sugar for another. And corn tortillas are much better for you than flour tortillas. Obviously, if you fry them, you have a little bit of an issue there. But you could bake them, or you can soften them up, or you can lightly grease your pan just to try and get a little bit of the softness up there. Now, corn is one of those vegetables that has to be cooked less than 300 degrees. Corn has a natural enzyme that prevents the saliva from breaking down the amylose. And so if you cook your corn greater than 300 degrees, you might as well be eating a carrot. It's the same difference as far as that rapid ingestion of sugar. And that's what we're trying to avoid are these rapid increases in sugar. They drive it really high, and then all of a sudden you find you're hungry after your meal, and you're like, what was that all about? Why am I still hungry? I just had a big meal. And this is what we're trying to avoid with that. And eating consistently, and eating regularly during the deal. The other thing people do is they starve. They get up in the morning, they grab something quick, then they get out, they forget to eat lunch, and then they have dinner. And they're famished by the time they eat dinner. Well, what did you do all day? You shut down your metabolism. And when you shut down your metabolism, and then you go to eat, where does it all go? It goes right to fat. So the idea is to eat regularly during the day and be active during the day.
What is regular? What is regular?
Regular is basically eating, 8 a.m., let's say it's 8 a.m., noon, 1 o'clock, eating at 5 o'clock with maybe a light snack in between.
So frequently?
Frequently.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're getting a lot of hits on Facebook.
Okay,
they're following along quite a bit. So
good.
You got some people out there that like you, and you got some people out there that don't know you.
No problem. Okay, well, we're going to go to break, and when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more. I want to try to give you some formulas for simple weight loss, and we'll be right back after the break. Thank you for watching.